So I am going to start off with a fish tank, more fish tank related question. Then I'll ask some more kind of general ones. But how long did it take you to readjust to normal life after getting out of fish tank in like just not being on camera all the time?
Um, Actually, it didn't take me long at all. I thought it was gonna take me like a week or so, and then, uh, I guess I woke up the next day and was like, I actually feel great. Like I don't know, I just like went to another place while I was in the tank, and then when I got home, I came back to regular life, and I guess I didn't need like to readjust at all, man. I just was like, all right, now back to business.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like if you're there and the whole time you're trying your mind's like I want to be back to normal and not here. It's easier to just switch back, but I think that kind of makes sense. I feel like no one really wants to be on camera 24/7, regardless of even if it's a chance to win a bunch of money. It's like no privacy at all is never fun. But
I mean, I don't mind. Like it was like that's what I signed up for, and you got to be cool and roll with the punches on that one.
yeah. It's sort of related, but have you heard anyone like hawk a loogie or spit and make that sound and just expect to hear a TTS message come through? Do like a Bert? What's that?
No,
Not quite yet.
no, dude.
That's probably a good thing. No, like residual, twitch energy for or like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a tick, developed tick. That's probably a good thing.
No, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but not for me. I was like, all
Yeah,
right, now it's just not on anymore. I don't
that's
know.
good.
It's hard to explain kind of like my thought process on that, but I don't know. I thought I would need some kind of readjusting and all that stuff, but I just didn't. I don't know.
Yeah. That makes sense. I feel like it's going to be different for everyone, and that one that doesn't surprise me. But I'm glad to hear it nonetheless.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm streaming now this thing, and do you guys
Oh,
they want to know who you are.
okay, cool. Yeah. My YouTube channel it's Atomic Man Productions or Atomic Erectus Erectus. It's actually a play. Everyone thinks it's a dirty joke, but it's just a play on the Latin for Homo erectus because it's Atomic Man Productions, so it's just supposed to be like Atomic Man, but everyone thinks it's a dirty joke. It's not. I was going to stream this on Kick too. I set up a Kick channel just to stream this, and then but I had my difficulties with that, so I figured just do the interview and focus on that. I don't really care about building a presence on there or anything like that. But
All right, yeah, they wanted to know who you were and shout it out, dude. If you're trying to like build something, like let them know.
Yeah. I appreciate that. My name's Mike too. If I didn't mention that, I think it says in the thing on here, but I can't tell if that's shows on the Twitch either. But yeah, or sorry, Kick, not Twitch. Um, that's a violation to the TTS right there.
How dare
TOS.
you? How dare you?
Um, okay, so the next question. And this is the one I'm most curious about. Did you feel like this was one giant acting challenge in the end? Did it feel like this was sort of a test of your abilities, or did you view it as more of just a physical challenge?
You mean at the end, like during the finale, or?
Or like just overall, like did you go into this approach it as an acting challenge where I'm not necessarily playing a character, but each game being like a different kind of character challenge or chance to work on a specific form of acting? Because even the stuff that's not playing a different character, I feel like they give you a lot of instances to interact with people in ways that you wouldn't, whether it was outright making a story up for them or just the way that you interact with people both like in person and through an audience of tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a multi-layered question. I think whenever you're on camera 24/7, you naturally just kind of become a little bit bigger than yourself that you are normally.
Yeah.
Like I think anybody who like watched the OJ trials back in the day, like it was like the first televised thing, and everybody just kind of played up to the camera. So I just think like we have that innately. And then there was like a number of acting challenges too. But as an actor, I knew that when other people knew I was doing an acting challenge, I didn't want to like bring my A game, if that makes like I didn't want to like tune it up to 10, if that makes sense. Just so that when I did need to act and hide something or whatever, like they couldn't tell the difference. You know what I
No,
mean?
that makes sense. Yeah.
And but no, I was myself the whole time. I think I just kind of like played into a few things a little bit more than maybe I naturally would have. But that's all for the show, and that's all for stirring the pot a little bit and
Make it
yeah,
more interesting.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I in the very beginning, like if you asked me to, and I'm sure other people said this, like if you asked me to pick someone, if I thought was production's plant or the one that the person that they picked out specifically to like be, I'm not that you know were that. It's like, and it ended up being that you were the opposite of that. Like you'd never seen the show, and when I heard that, I was not necessarily surprised, but it made it more interesting that you were going into it with a completely fresh perspective, like you'd never seen it. Like I think you said you hadn't even heard of Sam Hyde before, so
no.
that was really interesting. Um,
Another thing too is to the acting thing. So I initially submitted to be on season 3, and during the audition process, like one of the questions they asked me was like, how long could you stay in character for? And I was like, as long as you need me to. So I don't actually have any idea of what my plans were for that. But I did kind of keep that in mind for this one in case they needed me to do something or be somebody else. But they never really asked outside of like embody Alex B for I don't know half an hour or something.
I thought that was a fun one. I like that they had multiple people impersonate Alex over the time. They really I don't want to say milked that, but they got a lot of they got a lot of mileage out of that one. And apparently he never got all his clothes back. So I thought that's hilarious.
I kept his jacket.
Oh, um, okay. So, sort of related, but more just general. Who would you say is your biggest influence in acting? Like, either inspired you or, has a kind of career path that you would like to, not necessarily emulate, but like.
I don't know if it's a popular opinion, but when I look at like, I mean, I've always been inspired by so many people, so it's hard to like pick one person. I think Leonardo DiCaprio was always one that fascinating. I grew up watching like Growing Pains, and so like he was on a couple episodes of that. If anybody remembers that show, and then he went on to do like some awesome stuff. But I love like Robert Pattinson's resume. Like he started off doing like teeny boppy stuff, and then now he's doing like great work. I like guys that like do things that are different, and every role is a little bit different.
That makes sense. I respect that. I like. I'm a big
Was
fan
also
of.
a huge Shia LaBeouf fan too, growing up. Like even Stevens, and then A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. Again, if anybody's seen that, like just the arc of his whole thing. I think he's in a scary place right now, but I've always liked him growing up.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually just rewatched Transformers with my wife last night. She'd never seen it, and saw a TikTok of a guy doing a like perfect impersonation of the Optimus Prime at the beginning, the voiceover. And I was like, you know what? It's been a minute since I saw that, and cheesy movie, but such an entertaining guy in any role. Even when it's a cheesy movie, Michael Bay with constant explosions and whatnot.
I like Michael Bay, man. I don't know.
Oh,
He's got a style. Like the thing about him is, you can watch his movies and you almost know right away it's Michael Bay. Pain and Gain
no,
was fantastic. Like,
I loved it. I somehow forgotten about it, but they referenced Armageddon on it. They're like, he's like, someone straight up is like, this is like Armageddon, or this is worse than Armageddon. And I'm like, no, that's another Michael Bay I got to rewatch, because at the end of the day, yeah, he gets like lampooned for being all over the top, but it's like if you are going to sit down and watch 2.5 to 3 hours of movie, you want it to be
sure.
entertaining, and it's.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, some are cheesier than other, but he has a lot of movies I can appreciate.
for sure, man.
Definitely do kind of give him props. Um, okay, so I guess sort of in the same note, while we're on this, were you a fan of Fear Factor back in the day?
I was, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. I had because I have a few on that.
Actually,
It's hard to.
I watched the latest season too with Johnny Knoxville. I like that one.
Oh, really?
I like that one also.
Oh, I saw ads for it, but I never got a chance. I rewatched Viva La Bam recently, like in anticipation for this season. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go back and rewatch some more classic Jackass stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, dude.
I,
The new trailer looks awesome.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, and
I don't think Bam's in it, which is that's kind of sad, but I do still like the
I
I
heard
still
that
like
they
Jackass.
reached some sort of a.
Oh no.
Ad is the last one he got cut out of. Apparently it's, but the fact that they took him out in the first place, I don't think I've seen any of the ones that he hasn't been in at all. I watched was the Johnny Knoxville spin-off things like was it bad not bad grandpa
Dirty
yeah
Grandpa.
bad grandpa yeah
Or,
that
Better. I can't remember which one. There was
I
one
think
with
it was bad grandpa
okay.
it was I have to admit it was really funny it was over the top too but it was really funny the vending machine scene is just uh
No, that was the funniest
that's a
thing
classic
I've ever
Jackass.
seen per se. It
Yeah.
was
Per se. oh oh man no I think Jackass is always going to have that kind of charm to it, and it was really cool to see the crossover. Having Bam on Fish Tank this season, I think, brought something to it. Like there's always people that complain when something new is done in a new season, and I think there was like a period of adjustment for people. But having him there, and having Phil and April and
that was awesome,
when they
dude.
brought in, that was really cool.
Yeah, it
And they
was
brought
sweet.
in Steel Panther, and that was just it really added a lot.
No, it was cool, man. And I'm sure like because I'm rewatching season one now, so it's not like typical Fish Tank stuff. But I know like for me in the house, waking up to Steel Panther and having live music in the morning, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was one of my. I did a lot of clipping this season. That's like most of what's on my YouTube channel right now. I've been working from home and I had a lot of time during that. It was kind of like during the thaw up here, so I couldn't really be doing any outside work, gardening and whatnot. So I just. I was watching it in the background. It was like it replaced Netflix or YouTube or whatever I kept on the background. But I remember I'd be like working and I'd hear a commotion starting up and I'd kind of like look over the laptop screen and sometimes I'd be in the office and my wife would be out there watching and I would be like, hey, clip that for me.
That's cool.
There are so many moments like that. I have like 400 more clips to go through because I'd just be absentmindedly clipping stuff. And the moment that Steel Panther came in, and woke everybody up and just started playing. I remember that morning I was sort of still out of it too, and hearing them come in that was a really cool moment. There are some people that watched that clip with no context on YouTube and were like, "What is this? What the hell am I watching?" So the greatest live stream, not a show, ever made.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, dude.
So kind of going back to what I was asking before is I know it's kind of hard to give a fully objective answer having not been on Fear Factor, but from what you remember of watching the show, how would you compare Fish Tank to Fear Factor?
Fear Factor definitely had more like eating gross stuff and
Yeah,
like snakes and spiders and stuff. Like I was actually talking. I won't say who I was talking to, but I was saying because if I were to host at all in the future, dude, I would incorporate like who can eat the most crickets or stuff like that. Just because I'm such a huge fan of that show and Fear Factor's great. Like let's bring a guy in that can wrangle a bunch of snakes and like have the fish do some snake stuff. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So
Oh, that'd be awesome. And
yeah,
and that's funny because to inhumane stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if it's just the fact that I grew up watching Fear Factor or, that maybe it's a sign I've been on the internet too long, but I feel like with the exception of the cigarette and milk and steak challenge, there wasn't anything that was like, gross out or like put you at major risk. I feel like what's funny to me is if you think about it, I mean, there were a few times where production encouraged it, but when there were people like throwing their waste at each other, no one asked them to do that. They took it upon themselves. So, like, I mean, I don't want to like name names. But I love her. I think she did a great job too. But everybody on there, like Anissa and Laura, both just kind of took it upon themselves to. It seems like it was mostly, it was mostly a defensive measure in the beginning, and then it became a more offensive thing to when the forts were happening. But yeah, it wasn't something that they were like, oh yeah, throw your crap at each other. I guess they towards the end when they were running out of ideas, they toyed with having, was it Bert and Alex have Fishtank. And yeah, I think that was just to freak Alex out. I don't think they intended to go through with that, but it would have been funny to see him try.
I think they're just trying to send off the season with a bang, literally.
Okay, so this is kind of a follow up to the Fear Factor question. Have you seen Total Drama Island? Have you ever seen any versions
the
of
cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first impression was that you would make a great Chris McClane live action. Like if the Fish Tank crew were to buy or rent a whole island and they wanted to recreate that style of just basically Blood Games meets Fish Tank, but in a camp, I think you would be the perfect host for that.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
I think that would be really cool to see.
That'd be sweet. I don't think I've ever gotten that reference before, man. That's really funny.
I think it was once people started mentioning in particular that you'd do well in production and that it would make sense to bring you on afterwards, which like a lot of people were saying, and I agreed with that. I think it would be cool to see you come back, if not as host, then at least as a member of production who is more like on the visible end of things. There were many times this season because they didn't have the sharks. I don't know if you know what that is. I don't know if you actually watched the other ones. That was the one thing I missed from previous seasons with the sharks. I think it would have been really funny if the only way Sam Hyde appeared on the season was in costume as a shark. And I think a lot of people would figure out it was him based on his build, but I think it'd be really funny if he just had the mask on the whole time and just played the shark.
But he's like a big guy though, right? Like I think people would know it was him. But I think watching season 1, if I had been a fan, like I would miss the sharks too. I thought they were awesome.
It definitely was. They add a lot, but I feel like it was. What would have been funny too is if they brought back some freeloaders as sharks this season. They just kind of had imagine
I asked Landon if he'd ever want to like do a shark, like if we could be sharks together in like future seasons, and he said yeah. Like I think that would be awesome.
Oh hell yeah! Oh, that'd be awesome. They give him the tiger head and the shark body. And he's just a tiger shark.
Yeah, dude.
He just walks in the door with that. Oh, Landon.
That's Landon. Yeah, and he's got like a very specific walk too.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, so you already answered one. Then I guess the next was going to be: would you return as either a freeloader or member of production? I guess that's a firm yes there.
I totally would. Yeah.
This is kind of a what's it called, a fluff question, but what would you say was if you can pick one, your overall favorite moment, either challenge wise or friend tank moment?
Dang. I mean, I think it would have to be the reverse cell for me. I think that was kind of like I'm going from being. I was going from being like the normie guy to a fish, and it kind of started there. It gave me a lot of perspective on like what the show is too, like what was allowed and things like that. Like even though I didn't win, I thought it was a great effort and a great try, and it was really fun, like barricading the door. And I think just set in motion everything after that. Like I think like the significance of that makes it my favorite.
I
But
think
then
that
but then Fort Drake was fantastic too. So that's a hard one. Like it's hard to choose between those two.
I think Fort Drake and the whole siege kind of portion produced some of the best, at least clippable moments and rewatchable. There was a lot of parts from that if you were just, and a lot of people have, I've started doing so, like putting together compilations. A huge amount of them are from moments there. The nukes being deployed, so to speak, the doors being kicked. And I have to say too, I'm sure you've gotten this a lot. Props to for being the only person on the show who knew how to properly kick a door, and it was really painful watching Landon shake that door a bit.
On the very last door, I don't know if anybody was still tuned in, but he was trying to kick the jungle door down, and he kicked like the existing hole and got his like foot stuck in it.
He's such a great guy. I
He's
feel
the
like
best.
he brought a lot to the show, and he's one of those people who's genuinely both funny when they try to be and funny unintentionally. Like he has funny mannerisms too, and it makes for a very unique combo. I loved watching his ghost interview, and
Me too.
I have to say, well, I understand why he's skeptical of that. I hope he does something with that, and it would be really cool to see a Fishtank reunion where all of you guys just kind of crash Ghost's party and just all show up at if he goes down. He said he put Landon up an apartment. Can you imagine if you guys just all showed up there one day and it just kind of...
Actually, I talked to Landon for about an hour last night. I've got more information on that, but I can't say just yet.
Oh yeah. That's well. It's
Fingers crossed.
great to see that all of you guys. That I would fingers crossed for sure. It's so great to see how much cohesion there's been. Like I feel like every season people have made friends. Like there's been connections and whatnot. But it's interesting to me that the concept in the end that they were trying to do with season 3, I think they kind of accidentally did better with this one because in season 3 it was like Fame Tank, ironically, and a lot of the people who dropped out wanted nothing to do with it. Bert and Alex and Binks being some of the exceptions. You guys, I feel like not just the top 4, but everyone who was on this season, with a few exceptions. I won't say their names because they have enough notoriety. You guys just all have such personality and such genuine what's the word I'm looking for, like connection between all of you that none of you are doing anything that's like redundant. You're not like let's play streamers and just play video games. Like the twins are doing their art, you're doing your IRL streams, but I'm sure, and this will segue in the next question, we'll see some actual recorded, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like produced projects, things that you actually like direct and whatnot. But I feel like everybody is on a different path, yet you all have, the same drive to keep doing this. And that's really cool to see. I want to see more of the like reunion, so to speak, but I also really enjoy watching the individual streams. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
I can tell you, I mean, maybe this is a spoiler for everybody, but summertime, I can't say when, but me and Landon skydiving.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. We'll definitely have to look out for that.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that, but it's gonna be sick, man. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to stream the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd love it for us to like get ready, get on the plane, somehow stream on the way down. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out, but he said he's down. It's gonna get crazy.
This is one that I was trying to figure out how to phrase this, but like I don't want to pry or anything. What was the thing you were most excited, either like equipment wise for your filmmaking, or something to what were you most excited to get now that you have that you won and you have the money and the recognition to start building your portfolio? What project or that's 2 questions. What's the piece of equipment, I should say? What thing are you most excited for, and that will help you like new camera? whatever?
I actually just got a new camera right before I went on the show, and I filmed my second feature with it.
Oh
I
wow.
really, yeah, I really like it. I'm gonna hang on to that one for a while. Um, I'm not. I guess I'm just not that guy that like you get money and then you can spend it just because you have it. So
No, that makes sense. I figured if you didn't have something like that, I figured if you didn't have either a camera or a laptop you're using for streaming that you'd get one thing and then just to get started. But have you looked into those the wearable cameras for when that might be a good option for when you do the down the road when you do the skydiving thing? But I've been looking at those. They're like mostly for guys that do like motorcycle and riding content. They're clip-on cameras that hold on with a magnet, and then
oh
it either
sweet.
like your phone.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are.
I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do just yet with that, but somehow we can't just do it and not and just take pictures. Like that's not as cool.
Oh yeah.
So
Get a guy who just is there with a selfie stick recording you,
see,
like the camera's on a stick, but it's flipped around, pointed at you guys.
yeah, just to like get us falling out of a plane.
In a shark costume too. That'd be
Oh,
cool.
dude, if we could do costumes, that would be crazy.
That'd be wonderful. Okay, so this is a more cohesive version of that kind of follow up. What is there? I don't know if there's something you've already got in mind, and if it's something that you don't want to announce yet, I get it. We can skip this one. But is there a film project that you are most excited to make that you now feel like is the time now that you have this platform?
Yeah, so the movie that I wanted to make originally, so my first film is called Isolation. The movie that I wanted to make originally was the sequel, so it's called Desolation. And
Okay.
I'm an indie filmmaker and stuff, and we got some financing for it, but it wasn't quite the budget to make the one I wanted to make. So I ended up making a prequel. And so
Okay.
now, like, hopefully, we can get the ball rolling. I've already kind of talked with, I've got distribution lined up, and I've got some people who are interested. But having seed money is really important in this industry. And so if I can take some of the funds and just say, like, I've got some seed money, give us the rest of it, and then we can go into, I think I want to start production in 2027. But that one is like, that's the crazy one. That's the one I'm the most excited about is the sequel.
That's
And
awesome.
no spoilers for Isolation, but once you get through it and there's an end credit scene, you'll have an idea of like what universe I'm building.
Yeah. I have such a backlist of stuff to watch for everybody. I wanted to start with. I should have gone through and watched some more stuff, but this came together a little quicker than I was expecting, and I already had questions based on this, but I definitely should I should go back and watch that. And is it on? If you want to kind of do like a shout out too, is your that last project available to watch anywhere? Is it streaming on a anywhere, or is it someplace that people can either rent or purchase it?
I'm getting the final information right now, like the final details, but June 1st, and
Oh,
I can't say exactly where yet. There's a few different places, but as soon as I get all the details and they tell me like green light, share, post, do whatever you want, then I'm gonna go crazy when I get that.
awesome. Okay, so that I did. So I didn't miss too much. I saw stuff on your YouTube that I didn't get a chance to look through, but I wasn't sure if there was like feature length stuff on there or if it was just the. So I guess I'd follow up to that too. I saw on that channel that you do music as well,
Hmm.
and you did you sang a few times on the show. Is that something that you plan to do kind of concurrently with filmmaking? Do you want to like do your own soundtracks too, or do you see that as being like a separate thing that you're just kind of not related to your films? You just want to make albums just to make albums.
Yeah, well,
Or either.
I was always an arty kid growing up, and then I got like heavily into football, and I thought I was gonna go play football for college, and then I severely injured my back. So
Oh,
that dream went down the drain, and then I was like, what did I used to love? It was music and acting, and so I went full tilt into the music stuff and got my degree in music. I love making music and writing and singing and stuff like that. I think it's really hard to be a musician today. Like if anybody has any idea about how streaming works and stuff like that. But in terms of scoring, like I scored Isolation. I've won some awards scoring. Like I really love that. So I get to take my degree and put it into this film thing and kind of use both parts of my brain.
that's really cool. I've always heard that that doing that is like one of the smartest moves you can make. Not just from like opportunities perspective. Being both a musician and a filmmaker, it opens a lot of doors. But and not to be like money focused, but I've heard that the hack to making it as a voice actor is to be very music minded.
Mm.
It's why when if you sing even just a few lines in a like a major production, like something to be on TV, and it's something that is considered a song, and you've it's essentially written lyrics. It goes to a whole different type of royalties. You're getting money on a song instead of just your standard, like what I don't know what it, I was in the industry just long enough to get a taste, and I never learned. I'll embarrass myself if I start being like SAG credits and whatnot. But I
No,
think
that reminds me of like Jack Black in the Mario movie. The
yeah
chicken song or whatever, like that was his idea, and then
yeah.
that became the number one song. I don't know for how many weeks.
I especially when it's sort of like not necessarily improvised, but kind of last minute, and you can always tell when that comes together. I love that. It feels more organic. It feels like a more genuine song, and it's always entertaining. You can kind of hear him spitballing it, and
Yeah,
I was doing it on the spot. I originally learned that from Gary Anthony Williams, who's the voice actor of Uncle Ruckus on Boondocks,
sweet.
a bunch of other stuff, and he,
I
he
love
was on.
Boondocks.
No, me too. I actually went to the same school or college, not high school. I not at the same time. I never met him, but I went to University of Maryland briefly, and that's where Aaron Magruder actually went, the creator of Boondocks, and he started out the Boondocks as a strip, like a comic strip in the local like our school paper. And I remember trying to find. They're real proud now that he went there, but it's hard to find the old strips in the archive because it's fairly controversial. But he's always singing in everything. I think even on Malcolm in the Middle, there was a few times where he was just like singing live action. He always does that, and it gets him an extra paycheck for just about everything. I can't remember if it was
Sneaky.
a podcast or an interview that he was on, and he gave that bit of advice. So always appreciated that. But
That's awesome.
yeah. Okay, moving down the list. I feel like this one is kind of self-explanatory, and most people kind of could figure out the answer. But did you feel? I could tell that you felt protective of several other fish, like Landon. Did you feel more paternalistic or like an older brother to the twins and to Landon? Did you feel like, just kind of protective because they were your friends, or did it kind of that instinct kick in when you saw them either struggling or having problems?
Yeah, for sure. I'm naturally protective by nature. Like I actually just told Landon last night. We're talking about his future and stuff, and I was just giving him some cautionary tales and stuff like that. Like that's who I am naturally. So the second I have like a connection with somebody, or if it's somebody that I love, yeah, it's just in my nature to do that. And it wasn't just them too. I felt like a lot of people, until you cross me, then I'm like whatever, I don't care. But but for them specifically, yeah.
Yeah. I could tell that came through a lot. There's always a house mom and a house dad, and I feel like the house mom. There was a few candidates. One of them left really early, and then the other left fairly early. I feel like Anissa stepped up into that role for a while,
Yeah.
but understandably, she had to get back to her actual family and kids. So, but it was nice to see that. I feel like everybody was looking out for everybody in the end, and despite the complaints about Friend Tank at times, I enjoyed that aspect of it. It was nice seeing you guys get along, and it was interesting to me to see that there were times where they kind of tried to create drama because you guys just naturally got along, and may not make the most entertainment, but it's like, come on. I do agree. I did agree with what Bashir said in the one confessional that. Again, it's not a complaint, but I did think that you guys not fighting and just kind of, obviously there's challenges. They had to pick a winner, so I get why they did it. But I never minded the slower moments where you guys were just hanging out and talking because it afforded a lot of character development that we wouldn't have otherwise got. So
Sure. I think having seen almost of all of season one now, like I can tell that maybe the the hardcore fans were like, nah, we're over this. But I always just want to do something different. And if it was different, if it's a different kind of season, then I appreciate that. And if they want to nix that going forward, then that's cool. But at least season 5 will be like its own different kind of thing.
And they really all have been. I mean, if you look at the way they did season 3 and the way season 4 came out at the end, I feel like they've always experimented, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the fact that season 5 stands alone for being Friend Tank, it's like, okay, there's far worse things you could stand alone for. It could have been one of the seasons they got cut short,
Yeah.
or one of the seasons where people got doxxed or whatever. So it really worked out for the best, I think, and it's good to see that people agree with that. Okay, I'm going to move on to some. I made a poll on YouTube, and I got most of them are kind of nonsense, but
Hit me. Give me the nonsense ones too.
Alan Alcantara 1030 wants to know, what is the definition of goo?
I don't know. I still don't know. I was trying to make it. I'm like, is this goo? Like, what's the difference in goo and slime? I still have no idea.
It's funny because literally right after, like immediately after I got that, or before I got that question, I'd uploaded the clip where you guys were all trying to make goo in the kitchen, and I'm listening. I always listen to it to make sure there's nothing really bad in the TTS that's going to get flagged on YouTube. And it starts out, the camera kind of zooms in on you, and you're like, "What is the definition of goo?" And so he asked that right after, and I'm like, I knew someone was going to ask that, but I think what you guys made without having access to the goo material, like the actual chemicals that they had, I think you successfully created slime and goo. It just
we were
wasn't
close. Yeah.
You were quite close. The blue slime you made was pretty close, and then the twins had one that was basically gel as well. But that was funny. I'm not sure quite what this means, but someone asked. Relevant Hurt said, which mountain in Alaska?
Oh, so I talked about going to Alaska during like one of the darkest periods of my whole life. Yeah, and Mount Baldy was specifically that one that I was talking about.
Okay.
And then once you get up there, there's like a bunch of other mountains you can kind of like explore and stuff. But that was like the name of the one that I actually hiked up.
Okay. Awesome. I thought it was relating to either that or the camping one, but I wasn't sure. I should have asked the guy, but
yeah. And I'm not sure if I mentioned on the show, but I went up there and I brought my drone on, because I did it twice, and I brought my drone up just to kind of fly around, and I didn't realize how close. Maybe just dumb in my brain, but I didn't realize how close Alaska was to Russia, and it was right when Russia was like bombing Ukraine, and there's a military base right there in Alaska, so like. On my drone, I got like a notification from the military that was like, we're shutting your device down in 10, 9. And I had flown it all over the place. So I'm like, oh my, so I had to fly it back to me as soon as possible. I could hear a helicopter flying up to the mountain. And I just packed it up as soon as I could, and I slid the whole way down, like on my butt, and just I was like, I got to get off this mountain. And the helicopter kind of saw me, and just that normal guy, and just kind of like, all right, whatever, went that way. But like I kept the video. Maybe I'll post it at some point. I used to run a TikTok, and it was on TikTok for a while, but I don't have TikTok anymore. But I still have the video. But it was it was crazy, dude. It was freaking me out. I was like, I'm going to jail. I'm going military prison.
There's a film idea for you, and that's something you don't even need a crew for that. One of those Warren cameras and a drone, and just make a film that's, what if the military had decided you were a threat, and you had to like be Rambo for like a weekend, and you got injured and were trapped on the mountain, and then it's just Joe Schmo with a drone, but you're like fighting them, like avoiding their traps and trying to survive. That'd be interesting.
No, that would be fun. That'd be super simple too. But yeah, it was just a crazy. I mean, I had to slide all the way down, man. I fell and like I thought I broke my hand. It was great. It was nuts.
Was there a follow up? Did they like black SUV outside your house?
No, they didn't. I thought for sure they would have, but I think once the helicopter got up and they saw like I was just a guy flying his drone. But it was so wild. I've never got that like a notification before. But it was like military code number in 10, 9. I was like, oh my god.
Wow. That's it's really funny. I remember there was a time, and I'm not gonna directly say anything politics related because I just didn't want to get into that. But there was a time when a certain candidate said she could see Russia from her front door or from her yard, and everyone's like, "Oh, this retard, you can't see Russia from your," but you can. In I don't know if you could from her yard. I know there are parts of Alaska where when the like it's clear, there's no fog, you can see at least the coastline of either Russia itself or a Russian territory. I don't know for sure if it's like mainland Russia or if it's that island they own. But I've heard that there's parts like close to where you were that you can literally just see Russia. So I always thought it was funny that they got completely shredded for that, and it's not entirely untrue. It's like
Well, I had a buddy that's stationed at the base in Alaska while I was there, and so I shot him a text and was like, "Hey, dude, what just happened to me?" And he was like, "Yeah, they're on high alert right now." I was like, "Geez, I just didn't. I felt so stupid." I was like, "Of course, Alaska's right next to. That's really like across the pond from Russia."
Oh yeah, that's quite a story though. I feel like it's one of those things, and it's like it's as interesting as it can be to be a good story. With if it had been just a little bit worse, it'd be like, and it ended with, "Oh, and then I spent the weekend in a military prison."
Yeah, and I got my drone back with like 2 seconds to spare or something. I was like, all right, cool, because I've seen those like horror stories with the drones like just free falling into a lake. I'm like, dude, cool. I'm about to lose my drone.
I always I don't say I laughed at people's misfortune, but it's the funniest drone videos I think are not the ones where people like get their drones shot or where they crash, where it's just that slow descent and they know exactly where it's coming down but they can't move it. It's like disappointment in slow motion. It's so sad to watch every time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try and get through one. Secret Agent 1007 asks if there was any point where you thought this is getting too much for me, I want to leave.
No, actually, like full honesty, never thought that. I was locked in the second I walked in the door. I was like, this is a competition, and I'm naturally like just the most competitive person. Like I don't even let my nieces and nephews win like Uno. Like, nah. So I was like, I'm in it until somebody forces me out or I lose or, whatever, but I'm going to go as hard as I can.
Yeah. That's I feel like the one portion that I wouldn't have been surprised if anyone wanted to leave was the height of the cigarette milk challenge.
Oh.
That was pleasant for anyone, but I feel like that had to have felt like, if I give up now, I'll never forgive myself. I know there are a lot of moments like that, but I feel like that was a strong motivator for all of you guys. Was just I can't give up. We've come this far,
and
so.
that's the thing is like as we get past week 2, you're beyond the halfway part, and so I mean for me like once I got past like second week, I was like, dude, I'm in this thing. And more than that is I don't ever want to look back on my life and regret anything. So it would suck to have like, nah, this is too much and walk away. And then in a year or 2 years be like, man, I wish I stuck that out. I wonder what could have happened.
Yeah.
And it's the same advice I gave Landon last night about some stuff. Like, more than like talking about it, I want to be about it too.
Yeah. I think that was proven to everybody beyond a shadow of a doubt in the second to last challenge before the wrestling. I think the fact that it was zero hesitation. I've never seen. I almost wanted to ask if you don't want to go on this topic. I understand, but was what was the thought going through your brain when they said that? Were you like, they're fucking with us, or were you just like, fuck it, I just gotta fill my pants?
Having been on the show 30 days at that point, I was like, no, this is a real challenge, and they said the first one to do it, and I was no hesitation, just pushed. That's all it was.
I feel like that was the challenge that no one wanted to hear, but at the same time, I was like, I'm amazed they didn't do that earlier. They always do something like that. So it was a funny moment, but also I think it was the moment where production's just like, shit, what do we do? You could really see they were not necessarily struggling, but they were starting to at that point. I do agree. I don't want to get off track, but you'd mentioned more challenges like Fear Factor kin kind of stuff, eating bugs and whatnot. And I was waiting for that. I was waiting for something along those lines for this finale, but they went with the kiddie pool of goo. That was
Yeah. They had that lined up earlier, like early on. So I just think that
yeah.
they didn't sway from it.
But they said they were doing something with it. They said it was for a reason, and I was like, I don't know if anyone could have predicted that, but I'm sure someone did. I'm sure there were quite a few people that the second they saw the slime being made, they're like, there's going to be a pool of this.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. I was torn between thinking that it was going to be used for something major like that, or that they were really going to sell them for $50 a pop, and somehow you'd finance the prize pool from that alone.
I mean, they did sell some, or I think they are selling some, but I never bought that as like, that's not content. That's stupid. Let's spend a week making stuff that they could sell and not even use it.
I think they didn't even really sell it. I think they gave it to people who had got the basement chat tier, which was like $100 a month. So kind of built into that. But I have to ask, what the after it had sat for a while, I feel like the one thing missing from the cameras is that the smell-o-vision, and that's why everyone is so fascinated about it. How did it smell any worse, or like less or worse? I'm mincing my words here. Compared to the rest of the crap in the house, did it smell bad, or was it just kind of chemical?
The goo?
The goo itself, yeah.
It just smelled. Yeah, it smelled like glue and borax.
Yeah.
But the house reeked. Almost every single room reeked. In fact, like up until a few days ago, like I could still smell it.
Oh God.
I couldn't like get it out of my nose.
That's I feel like that's the only real lingering thing you had is the aroma of the smell. That's somehow doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know what it was about the color of it and the way it looked on camera once it had all mixed into brown. It looked like it smelled like death. It kind of looked like, you've ever had the misfortune of coming across like roadkill that's been there a while, or if you're from the kind of place where people hunt, that kind of pile of organs that people leave in the woods. It looked like that. It looked like liquefied remains, and I couldn't get it out of my brain that it smelled horrible. And I was like, that was the one moment that I was like, this seems like torture. But
the goo didn't smell that bad, and it felt like exactly how you think it would feel, just like goo. Okay. Yeah, it was heavy. Like once it was on you, it was like really heavy.
It kind of looked like the liquid that the guy from RoboCop turns into when he gets melted by the acid and then hit by the car. I think that's what my brain was originally thinking of. I was trying to place it, but okay. I'm going to get back to the YouTube question. Still trying to. Someone wants to know: have you talked to Symbol from season 3?
I have not. So
okay,
I've gotten a few questions about that. Like, should I talk to him? Is there something? What am I missing?
Yeah, I asked him what I asked him why he wanted to know that, but I guess I either didn't wait for the reply to post, or I didn't actually send it. But I didn't know what he meant by that. But I think it was just because he was also kind of like the one who took charge briefly in the beginning of that season, and kind of like during the acting challenge in particular, he was like the director, or wanted to be. And I think he said he had filmmaking goals as well, but like, I don't know. Unless you guys specifically wanted to, like talk and we're on the same page for a project, I think that's really all I can think of as to why you guys would have a reason to chat.
I've been chatting with a lot of the past Fish and freeloaders and stuff, and not to spoil anything, but I got some cool ones coming on at a later stream. So, like, nice. I'm interested in meeting everybody.
Yeah. I feel like it's even if it wasn't someone from your season or someone that you were familiar with before, there's a kind of kinship that you now have as someone who was in the tank. Whether or not it was the same experience, you went through it, and I feel like it's kind of always going to open that door. Whether it was a freeloader or a past contestant, you guys have common ground, and there's always going to be common stories like what's her name? Taylor, I think, was on Bashir's stream the other day, and they had kind of similar experiences in terms of their like social perspective and in wanting to be less confrontational and more. But I feel like at the same time, there's there's always a what's it called? Mutual hardship that unites you as well, whether or not it was the same kind. Yeah,
no, it's like you kind of trauma bonded with everybody.
Exactly. That's what that's the term, trauma bonding. Okay, so this is one a lot of people asked about during the show. I think other people have touched on this too, but Ricky H26 asked what was the fish tank diet like?
Oh,
outside of the steak, did they feed you guys?
Every now and then they would give some food that was pretty good. We had a fish boil that was good, but for the most part, no, we just had like frozen pizzas and frozen fish sticks or frozen burger patties. Like, as somebody who eats pretty clean, that was tough. But when you're hungry, you eat. So I was really thankful for all the fortune cookies.
Yeah,
starving to death.
When they announced the Backyard Butcher sponsorship, were you excited for like a good fresh meat source, or were you like, they're going to ruin this for us somehow? Did it?
No, because I love steak, and the food actually was really good. It just sucked having to eat it so fast. I couldn't really enjoy it, and there was like no seasoning like that. That's not how I make my steaks or how I make my burgers or whatever. But yeah, it sucked like not being able to enjoy it.
I can see that. That doesn't surprise me. It's too much of a good thing, and also not quite how you want it. It's enough to ruin it for any length of time. But it was cool that they did that. It was cool that they did that. I didn't expect that sponsorship, but it makes me want to order from them and see how it is.
And the fish boil was good. The fish boil was great. But Landon and Binks saved some, and so their nukes were like the fish boil and their waste. And so when he dumped that stuff, that smelled the worst. That was pretty bad.
I somehow missed the fish boil, so I had no idea where the shrimp came from. Someone was just like, "Oh, it's shrimp mixed in there," and I had no recollection of that. You guys having shrimp? I was like, "Where did they find shrimp?" Was it just like in a container somewhere, like the owner's food?
No, it was crab and shrimp and crawfish, corn. There was some sausage in there.
Honest to God. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so
like a boil, yeah. And they kept it, and it got real bad. Like, fish doesn't last long. Plus, they had their piss in it and stuff. It was like gross.
Yeah, that's I can't imagine much worse smell than shit and bad seafood. So,
yeah.
Let's see here. There are some questions. I'm going to try and paraphrase a couple of them here. Did you feel like it, not to circle back too much to this, but did you feel like there was any point where being a quote unquote normie and being less in on the internet culture, did it feel more like a frustration, or did it feel ultimately like kind of a leg up to you in that it wasn't a distraction?
No, I never felt like I was like at a disadvantage, if that's what you mean. I think the reason why I haven't been an internet person was just because like I understand there's a lot of trolls out there, and and they just don't bother me, like even in social media now, like the ones I do have, and so like I didn't let them bother me on the show either. Like I viewed them the exact same. I'll say like post Fishtank, it's been really fun. Like my chat trolls me sometimes because I don't quite get a reference, or somebody on social will troll me because I don't get a reference. But I'm like, I don't know.
I thought it
It
was
just doesn't
funny.
bother me. Yeah, I'm like, I'll figure it out if you guys want me to do like a raid or something. Like, sorry I didn't get that right, but I'll learn about it and then I'll do it right next time.
It was really funny. I thought it was some of the funniest moments where you would it'd be explained, a reference in real time, and it felt like that scene in Captain America when he's waking up and learning everything. I understood that reference, and I actually I can't get to that clip. I won't go off on this tangent, but I can't access some of the like earlier clips that I took because of the way the website loads for me. So I don't have some of the earlier ones, posted on my YouTube yet, but I really want to, when I can get to that one, I want to take the first clip of someone explaining an internet reference to you and put it next to that clip from Captain America. I understood that reference.
Yeah,
It was exact same energy, and I appreciated that.
that's how it felt. It was like Captain America. I don't know, not to say I'm Captain America, but like
No,
you just I am who I am, and I'm comfortable with that.
yeah, no, and I feel like ultimately I think that did add to the and this is another character. I'm going back.
Too hard to break down.
Yeah. Okay. So, at Zero Condolences, asked what you think was if you had to pick, like, what would be your arc moment where, whether or not it was like you're just because you always had the resolve to stay, but was there a moment that you felt like something kind of clicked in terms of your approach, or did you not have a moment like that?
No, I think like I said before, like the reverse cell was kind of like
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
was
yeah.
kind of that it for me. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Okay.
this they're gonna allow me to do stuff like this. Let me figure
Okay.
out like what the rules mean, and then because that's where kind of the chat was telling me like rules don't mean anything.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I can't tell if I'm not sure if they mean more like in the terms of friend tank. Like was it so I'm gonna read it the way he wrote it out because it was a different question. He said, ask him what he thinks his arc is. He came in a normie and didn't take long until he was acting like a full blown fish, more so than other dudes now. So you'd say that was that reverse cell moment where you could you kind of not they took your guard down, but the floodgates were open in terms of
That was
what was allowed.
that was the big one for sure.
Yeah.
But also I think the plant challenge was like a little bit more of an introductory to the fish part to being like
Oh,
a full blown fish was like, oh, the plant challenge is because that got pretty crazy. And then
yeah.
I think the cell was the one that kind of was on my own and doing.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I feel like getting that the orientation to the fish tank style challenge, and then getting the moment where you're like, oh, okay, it's not a control. I feel like it in even when they're not trying to pull one over on the fish like they were on season 3 or early in the beginning. Even when people are coming into it with the perspective of this is fish tank, no one really can know what they're going for until they start showing you the challenges. And I think during that plant challenge, people were kind of like, what are they doing here? Like it felt like a really good idea on paper. Yet the second it started to go off the rails, it's like, oh god, how do you rein this back in? Like, how do you reel this
Yeah,
back to reality?
because it just got crazy. I think they had to like come up with that on the fly too. Of the
Yeah,
putting it in a bag or something. Yeah.
yeah. And then that just when they introduced the logs at one point, I was like, oh, there's just it's kind of the fish tank jumping the shark moment, so to speak. Except there wasn't a shark to jump.
Yeah.
I also thought it would be really funny if, or let's say funny, it would be interesting to see if they can get in the like the near future a house that has a fully enclosed outdoor space so that the contestants can go outside, so to speak, but still be cut off like a full privacy fence. Because I feel like that would open up so many doors in the
Well,
challenges.
so before we got on the show, they told us to bring our bathing suits because they said that we're gonna have a beach day. And
Oh,
afterwards, we'd ask like, where was the beach day? And you guys can't see, but there's a pool out in the back. And
oh,
so like they were gonna have like a beach day in the pool, and then I guess it was cold and they didn't want to do that. But I was saying like, if I was a host, I would do a cell challenge in the pool.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That, yeah, yeah.
Like beach day, but guess what? Who can stay
Oh God.
in the freezing pool the longest? Like I don't know, polar bear
The,
club
the,
style.
the biggest prune challenge because everyone to come out.
I mean, but you can imagine like production throwing stuff into the pool and stuff floating around, or if someone like craps their pants, like I don't know, like that would. I think that would be pretty wild. So,
Oh yeah.
as a host brain, I think of stuff like that. Like I think that would be really fun.
I think that would work. They'd have to do, I think, an above ground pool so they don't risk destroying somebody's like $500,000 in ground pool, like the filter or whatever. But if they got a cheap, one of those metal above ground pools, they could do that. Okay, so that brings another question then. If you want to go into this in more detail on another stream, you can of course opt out of this one as well. But if you were to come in as host, if they were to say, "Hey, come back for season 6, be the host," and they said you get to pick 3 challenges that you bring to the board, do you have, if not 3, then at least 1 that you'd really like to do? Like, was there a challenge that just popped into your brain? Like, I would love to subject other people to this.
Oh man, I don't know. So I actually have like a whole list. I made a list,
Okay.
and I've got I don't know 30 or so. And I texted Ben, I think like 12 of them or something like that.
Wow.
And he was like, "Well, these are great." And now he's like, "Keep them coming." I was like, "Nah, you get the rest if if you bring me on." I mean, it's funny to be a host and not a contestant. Like as a contestant, I think some of these would suck, but that's not the point of the show is to like, semi torture people. But
Right.
one idea I had, I guess I'll tell you, and I won't tell you the rest if that's okay.
Sure.
Is maybe like a worst BO challenge. So they have, I don't know if they want to do like a day or make it 2 or 3 days or whatever, but the person who has the worst BO kind of thing. So you can imagine people not showering or people like getting sweaty on purpose, whatever. And then immediately after announcing the winner of that, make everybody switch clothes.
Oh God.
Like that is funny to me. I don't know why, but I'm like,
Yeah.
that's also like pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Like I would hate that as a fish, but I think like as somebody from production, that would be so funny.
I think I'm going to try and answer this as tactfully and tastefully as possible. But I feel like they would have to introduce another layer of screening for people. Make sure they don't have anything that would be easily transmittable with clothing. You put on someone else's shorts, and suddenly you've got herpes. That would not be fun. No, but that is. I've never heard that one before. I feel like they could definitely do that, and there's some people. I think that would make a few people walk if you did that early enough. And if you did it with like a season 3, I think that would be an eliminator.
I agree.
I know people the people I know in real that they would be like, nope, I'm out.
Yep.
50,000, 100,000, I don't care, I'm out.
Nope. Or maybe like the second part of the challenge is like how long you can keep those clothes on too. Last one to change. I don't know, something like that. While there's other challenges going on, but that to me that sounds real funny. People have to sleep in the nasty clothes and stuff, or people's like sweaty clothes. So gross.
What they'd had, and they could even take it up a notch, like give everyone the same clothes to wear, and then make everybody put on like those coveralls so that their underlayer is just sealed in there, and then make them like run, make them all do jumping jacks. And
that's
like
the thing with the first part of that challenge is people are going to put trash bags on and just be as sweaty as possible to try to win that. So like they're making it worse for themselves for part 2, but they don't know that.
Yeah. God, no. That's a good one. Okay. That's a really good.
And I didn't even tell Ben that one. So that one's free.
They need to get like a narrative poll type thing and get people to vote to bring you on as host, because I feel like you'd get not a landslide if there's no one else, but They should put a joke candidate in, like, who do you want to host next season? James Straker, Mr. Naked.
Oh gosh, Lord!
I said his name. Oh God. No, but I feel like in actuality, if there was a way for the audience at large to officially tell them, yes, we'd love to see James back as a host. It was one of the first things I thought, like midway through the season, when we started thinking about, what are they going to do next? I feel like you'd bring a lot to it. And I feel like something that this, if you didn't necessarily learn this, in the course of Fishtank, then it's something you had before. But I feel like as you said, you're naturally a protective person, but you have a good balance of you obviously care about people and you're not a sadistic person, but you have ideas as for challenges that will push people. And I think it's sort of a Joe Rogan kind of quality that you have to be, it's to the left and right brain balance kind of thing. Because if you're overly cruel, then you're just going to piss people off and people are going to leave. But if you can balance that, subject them to nightmares and then listen when they want to talk about what's going on, it's a good balance. So
I think
sorry, go ahead.
No, I think when I think about what kind of a host I would be, it would be that exact thing of let's push people, but also be, I'm always going to be myself. But if people wanted to like chat or tell me their troubles, I don't know, but just kind of be that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked those moments where they let you guys sit down with Bam and kind of talk it out in the confessional. That produced a lot of the coolest moments where we got to see, character development that wouldn't necessarily have occurred between, Fish and Fish, it having that dynamic of, someone like Bam who not only, has been doing this kind of stuff. He's been on TV since he was a kid, but he was in Jackass. He's subjected himself to all of this stuff and more. So I feel like, you're now in that club as him and that you've been on this side of the camera. You've been subjected to the Nightmare House, but you also
that's high praise, man. I don't accept that one. That's too high praise.
Oh, I think you're on the track, man. It's easy to say, and obviously, Bam's a legend. Like he's been like self-made since he was a teenager. He wasn't like, had rich parents that put him into that. Like he built his brand himself. So he's definitely a unique person, but you're getting there, man. You're getting to that kind of place. So what
if say? I was just responding to chat. But no, I think if they allow me to, then I would love to do it.
I'm circling back to it. I think if they did the outdoor, the summer camp kind of idea, you really would be a perfect host for that. They would open up a lot of possibilities for stuff like the challenge you mentioned. You could really put people to their breaking point with outdoor challenges. And I think adding a layer of like sleeping either in a tent or in semi-open cabins. If you've ever seen those hiking shelters, that would add so much. If they're just everybody's out in the open, you've got your little sleeping area, but you can come in with a bugle in the morning and wake everyone up. There's a lot of potential there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I think I've gotten through most, like pretty much all of mine, and I'm gonna do one quick scroll, see if anyone's added any in the YouTube. Let's see.
It said Drake would make a good drill sergeant.
No, I can see that. I actually think that if that would be a cool way for them to and for you to kind of get your foot in the water if they brought you back for a specific challenge during the next season. Let's say if you're busy filming something of your own, you can't commit to a host season. If they just brought you in to host one unique challenge, and they brought you in like full drill sergeant gear and just had you guys like quarter deck the whole house, get them to do like laps and jumping jacks and burpees and stuff, go full Arlie Ernie, he's the legend himself.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna double check here. I don't want to end on a softball, but if there's any question that I didn't ask, if there's something that you wanted to talk about or that you wish you had an opportunity to mention on fish tank, what would it be? Is there anything that you wish you had an opportunity to discuss, or whether it be a project or just something you wanted to
I don't
tell
know,
people?
man. I'm an open book, so like anybody that wanted to ask about my past or like looked into my past, I was pretty open about that. I was open about my faith. I don't know. I talked about like my film and music and stuff, and so I feel good. Like I'll say like I feel good walking out of the tank and being like, oh, I think I went in with a mission and I accomplished the mission, and I'm happy with everything that I said on the show, and except for the one thing, and you guys know what that is. I got tricked into that one. That sucked.
Yeah. I feel like there were a few moments in this season where they really did kind of mess with you guys and either take it too far or try and create drama that wasn't necessary. But I said this before. It really was refreshing to see a season where I know not everyone could accomplish exactly what they wanted to coming into the house. Obviously, it's a challenge. There's only going to be one winner. But it really does feel like with this season that you guys all won in some way. Like you took the grand prize. You obviously accomplished exactly what you came into the house to do. You're on an excellent path getting out of it. And it feels like with very few exceptions that everybody who stuck it out to the end, that they accomplished that in some way. It's really cool to see. And I feel like because of that, unless you guys, for whatever reason, are busy with other stuff, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see you in the rest back in future seasons, whether it be freeloader, host, production, whatever. I know everybody would welcome it, and
Yeah,
it'll be
and
cool to see.
I've talked to everybody about that too, and they all said like if they needed them for anything, that they would be back too. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's really cool to see. Okay, I think that's everything. I want to give you some time to get ready for your next. I don't. Oh, am I supposed to? I don't know if I'm spoiling anything there. I won't say
no,
anything else.
you can say
Yeah.
anything you want, man. I don't care.
Okay. Um, yeah. Well, thanks for joining me. Thanks for answering my questions, and it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, no,
Good luck.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you, bro. And yeah, I just thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Have a good one, man, and good luck with everything. I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see what you do next and all your projects coming up.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Have a good one.
You
Peace
too,
out.
man. Bye.